Hello and welcome back to CHOP, the show where we have Windsor High School students battling it out in Miss Smith's kitchen with 4 secret ingredients. Here are your judges. Miss Ward, one of our geography teachers. We have Mr. Franz, a PE teacher and football coach. And then Miss Kendrop, one of our Spanish teachers. And for our teams, we have Team 1, Hayden, Wes, Izai, Damon, and Ava. Team 2, we have Caden and Lucas. And finally, Team 3, we have Austin and Kate. And here are your ingredients. Elk steak, rosemary, apple, and zucchini. You may open your bags. You have 30 minutes to cook. You can use anything in the refrigerator, pantry, and your time starts now. All right, so if you guys were here, what do you think you'd be doing?
I'd probably use the rosemary as kind of a seasoning.
Like garnish the steak?
And the apples to help garnish the steak, the flavor and stuff, and then use the zucchini kind of as a side to it would be my thoughts.
Sounds good to me.
My favorite way to prepare elk steak involves copious amounts of butter and garlic.
Sounds pretty good.
So
yeah.
I would use copious amounts of butter and garlic and then saute the zucchini and the same thing, using the rosemary for seasoning on the steak. And I would probably make some kind of applesauce or apple compote to go on the side.
That sounds amazing.
And then, so what are some things that you guys usually cook at home?
I grill steaks a lot. I love putting them out on the grill and using different seasonings on them. And then the zucchini grilled is really good as well in the summertime.
Some of my favorite ways to use our game meat is my kids really like shepherd's pie, so I'll usually cook a roast or something the day before with mashed potatoes, and then I make extra mashed potatoes, and then I'll save those to make a shepherd's pie with some ground game meat the next day. So
I'm not much of a cook, so it's usually on the grill to a minimum. Lots of burgers, steaks, things of that sort. But
You guys like to bake much or no?
I bake a lot at home between my daughter and I. We do a lot of baking, crock pot meals in the wintertime, and then all sorts of different things in the summer.
I'm a big baker. I just baked banana muffins this weekend. I love to bake. My baking, I'll follow recipe. When I cook, I generally tend to just throw stuff in. And so my kids are like, can you make that what you made before? And I'm like, maybe. Let's see. And they're like, it doesn't taste the same. And I'm like, well, it's generally the same.
That's the way my roasts usually come out, because I don't know, I just throw stuff and, it comes out. Every single time everybody likes it, but it's all different.
Yeah, that's how my soups are. I often use soup to clear the fridge to have leftovers. I just pick it and I throw it in a pot and I'm like, here we go.
Yep. Good stuff.
I think this one's going to be exciting. This is a pretty wide range of ingredients here from
Yeah,
the
see them
steaks,
getting
like
different.
apples.
Oh, and they've got fresh garlic over here, so that's going to be nice.
Yeah.
I didn't see what Kate and Lucas grabbed.
These guys are patting it down, which is very smart. It'll be interesting to see if any of them worked with elk, though, because it's a very lean meat, and so it kind of requires some different preparation.
So every time my uncle made it, it was really good.
You have to add fat. So when we have our elk processed for ground meat, they put in beef fat with it, because otherwise it's very dry, because it's a very lean meat.
Yeah.
Mr. Franz, are you a big elk steak guy, or have you had much elk?
I liked it when my uncle would hunt and provide it. I always tell students that that's usually my favorite, much more over deer meat. But it's been a little while since I've had elk meat, but that beef jerky is always great, so I'm excited to see what it turns out.
I'm not a big fan of deer either.
Taco kind of.
It's a little more of a gamey.
Yeah. We put deer, I usually just have deer ground, and we do it as breakfast sausage, or I'll do it in chili or tacos, because
Deer's very gamey.
Now, deer from Nebraska, whitetail is much better than the mule deer in Colorado. It's less gamey, but mule deer in Colorado is pretty sagey and gamey.
So you said that you would usually use the apple as a garnish. with the steak? Is what you said?
Yeah, kind
You
of.
just like take the juices?
Yeah, to help bring the flavor out, and then just kind of maybe somehow cook them a little bit to soften them up. But yeah, just kind of side type thing.
Yeah. I think the
interesting
rosemary
to
is
see
kind
how
of a
well they
given that
do
they're
it.
supposed to use it to like.
Yeah, you got to be careful with rosemary though to make it so it's not
pretty strong.
too strong. Yeah.
I usually use rosemary with chicken, so it'll be interesting to see it with beef or red meats, because generally I use rosemary with more poultry.
Yeah, I think fish. I use it more in the fish categories too.
Well, I'm gonna go talk to our teams and let you know.
Yeah.
So what do we got going here?
All right, so we're gonna make some gourmet tacos probably.
Okay.
We're gonna thinly slice some apples. I'm saying we're gonna keep it a surprise with the zucchini. We got some
Okay.
cooking up with that.
Okay.
I'm saying these. I don't know what this is to be honest, but we're gonna make it work, and it's gonna be really good. But I don't wanna expose too much yet.
Okay,
'Cause
yeah.
We got some cooking up.
You don't want to release your secrets?
Exactly. We got
All
some
right.
cooking up.
Sounds good. Lucas, what do we got going here? Take the
We're
mic.
just getting the steak going, and then we're also gonna pan fry. I think maybe pan fry the zucchini.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, Cade, what do we got going here?
We're doing some potatoes with the zucchini. Still kind of confused on what to do with the apples, and then the steak's looking good.
Very nice. All right, thank you. So you were right. They got some gourmet tacos going over here. And then Team 2 said they're just gonna do some pan fry with the zucchini and the steak. And then Team 3 over here said they're kind of confused with what to do with the apples. But then they got some potatoes going on that they're gonna fry. With the zucchini. So I think that should be pretty good.
I think if they put the apples with the zucchini too,
Yeah.
because that could be a good apples and potatoes and zucchini mixed together. That could be okay.
Yeah, the cool thing about this show is like how much of a variety you get. Like each team always does something very different. So
Definitely. Have they decided what they're doing with the apples back there?
no, they did.
Yeah, what's the taco team doing with the apples?
They said they're kind of just gonna try and throw it in there somehow.
Okay.
But they told me that they have some secret that they're gonna do for the zucchini. They didn't want to tell me too much, so
Okay. Secret zucchini.
The apples seem like the oddball out on this
yeah.
one.
Something
Yeah.
maybe a sweet, but
I do see they're chopping it really thin.
Like a
Yeah, that's what they
fajita
said.
type
Yeah.
Yeah,
thing.
for their tacos, yeah. Shouldn't just get a huge chunk of elk in your mouth
Right.
with all the tortilla and stuff. But yeah, usually in the show, there's always one oddball ingredient.
Yeah.
Like last time we had potatoes and coconut, which that's kind of hard to pair together.
I feel like I'd end up trying to whip out a dessert with that ingredient like, on top of everything else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Miss Kendra, how many? My bad. How many like different types of like? How do you prepare your elk steak? Is there like many different ways you do it, or you just kind of stick to it when you're making it?
So with the tenderloin, the backstrap, or the sirloin, we usually do kind of a traditional steak. We fry it as opposed to grilling it like we do with beef, but we'll fry it with butter and garlic. I will also use the elk steak to make stroganoff or stew. And I've done it a few times with like some taco type seasoning, but it generally, my family likes the flavor, so very simply with just a little bit of ingredients and added fat, it prepares pretty well.
Yeah. That's the nice thing about like deer and elk. It's a pretty lean meat compared to like beef, where you do get a lot of that fat in there.
Yeah.
Really thin zucchini slices over here.
Interesting.
I don't know what
Oh
they're
my gosh,
doing. They said
yeah.
they have some secret tactic they're gonna use.
and they're peeling it.
Yeah.
It's interesting.
So I'm excited to see how that's gonna turn out.
Yeah, I'm excited to see what's happening.
I love zucchini with a little olive oil and seasoning salt. It's like my favorite way to grill it.
My mom makes a really good creamy zucchini where she'll put zucchini and onions with half and half or cream and garlic salt and just kind of
Kind of like the
use it a little
cucumber.
bit, but a hot version.
Okay.
It's a little mushy if you don't like that
Uh-huh.
quality, but it's very good.
That's the one thing I do love about summer with the gardens, the fresh zucchini and just taking it, slicing it right up and putting it on the grill. I haven't seen the apples on anyone
Actually,
yet.
nobody's busted out. Oh, no, they've got the apples going in a blender over there.
Okay. Which, you said, Mr. Franz, the sauce in the tacos
Yeah.
is the apple.
I think that's what I would try and do. Give it a little bit of a sweet taste.
One thing that always kind of goes wrong is if anybody tries to throw in those last ingredients towards the end.
Yeah.
Because then you kind of just throw it on there and let it. Like the last team we had that got chopped kind of just threw their coconut towards the very end and not end well.
Yeah.
And again, coconut's one of those hard ones to do.
I would say apples would be easier than coconut. I think coconut would have really thrown this off. I can think of different ways to use apples with this, but coconut I think would have been.
Back to the talk on elk. How long, like, is it supposed to be rare, medium rare? Like, how long are you supposed to cook it?
You can prepare it pretty much any way that you would beef, and cooking temperatures are standard with beef cooking temperatures. So you can have a medium rare elk steak and it doesn't pose the same health risks. And we use the same processor that we've used for years. It's Steve's Meat in Arvada, and we like them because they have a very high quality standard. We've been there dropping off game before, and we've watched them tell people to put their entire carcass in the trash because they're like, this wasn't harvested right, this wasn't kept at the right temperatures. And so we have mass amounts of coolers and ice, and the second my husband or any of his hunting party ever get anything down, they process it right away, which prevents it from being gamey. If you let them hang too much in warm temperatures, it gives it a gamey taste.
That is the sad thing about hunting. Not a lot of people know how to like take care of it after.
Yeah,
The blender going.
Yeah.
it's got the apples in it.
Looks
Looks
they
like
got the steak
Lucas is
cooked.
over there chopping up the apples pretty.
Yeah.
just
They
huge.
finish just
And-
when they put it on. So. we'll
And
see.
Team 2's got apples on the cutting board, or Team 3 has apples on the cutting board.
And Team 2's back there cutting their apples right now, it looked like. And they've got lemon and onion back there too, looks like.
Lemon and, oh, I see it. They chopped the apples.
Chefs,
into
you have
really
15
fine-
minutes remaining. Your time is half done. You have 15 minutes remaining. Got some tortillas coming off the pan
Back
over there.
warmed up.
It's starting to smell burnt.
Oh, you just put a whole bunch of butter in there.
How do you guys like your steaks?
I'm a medium rare kind of gal. Like, I don't like it ruined, but definitely like it very pinkish red in the center.
More like medium. I don't want it too red. Don't want it too cooked, but just that kind of fine little bit of pink.
I like it mooing. Yes. We give my mom a hard time because I always make prime rib for Christmas and I have to make her something else because I use the high temperature method for cooking prime rib. Have you ever used that?
I'm not.
So the first time I did it, I was afraid I was going to ruin $100 worth of meat because you put it in there at 475 and you leave it cooking for 10-minute increments on how big the meat is, and then you turn the oven off and let it sit for 3 hours. And it turns out perfect medium rare.
Nice.
But it's the first time I was like, I'm actually cooking something at the top setting of my oven.
Yeah.
I'm going to ruin this meat.
Right.
But it was awesome.
Nice. I'll have to give that a try because we do prime rib a lot of times at Christmas time.
We do too. So Google the high temperature method.
Okay.
And it brings it out perfect. The middle is really definitely rare, medium rare, which is good for reheating, and the ends are a little more medium.
Yeah.
And so you can kind of get a good spread for all of your guests.
Well, and we learned how to do the Pittsburgh style too. Like we take it and do you heat some butter up really, really hot in the pan, and then you sear it on both sides for like 30 seconds in the really hot pan, and it tastes good that way.
I will do that with elk roasts for the prime rib. We have so many people, it's like
Yeah.
huge prime rib, and it wouldn't fit in a pan to sear it.
Right.
So that's why I use the high temperature
Yeah,
method.
we just slice, we just do the slices, and for those that want it, Pittsburgh style it.
All right, I think I'm gonna head back over and see if we have any
Final
Yes.
10
any
minutes.
changes here.
Kind of curious what.
So do we have any major changes, anything here?
I like the recreative
no
with
changes.
the circles
Still
on
making
the, it's going to be a
tacos,
pretty
so
presentation, whatever
I think
it
they'll
is.
turn out good.
Thank you.
Well, and he put in on his,
Caden?
Familiar with game meat than some of the other teams.
Yeah, they hunt a lot, so.
Yeah, when I saw them, I know they both hunt, so I don't know specifically elk, but I know they probably have familiarity with game meat.
Well, Ozzy's a big waterfowl here.
Yeah, I know they hunt waterfowl. I don't know if they hunt big game, but I know they have friends that do, so my guess is they've been around the meat before.
Does Gavin help you cook very much when he like cooks or kills it?
Gavin's not much of a cook, but Bella is. She really likes to help cook, and she enjoys time in the kitchen. Gavin's learning. He sure likes to eat it, though. The other night he came home from work hungry and pulled an elk steak out of the freezer and convinced his dad to grill it up about 10:30 at night. So
Oh, wow.
he was like, "Dad, I'm hungry." So his dad grilled up his elk steak about 10:30.
Wow. That's dedication.
Yeah, we get half a cow every year. My dad works at a cattle ranch, beef ranch, so
Yes, I'm
we have to
jealous.
buy beef and all.
That's awesome. A long time ago when my husband was on Evans Fire, we used to always buy half a cow from one of the gals on the fire department over there, and it was so great to just go to the freezer and pull it out.
Yeah, that's the one thing I miss because my grandpa, we were cattle ranchers up until just a few years ago, and I loved having the fresh stuff. Every time I went home, my grandpa's like, "Where's your cooler?" I would stock my cooler full of fresh meat from the cows that we had. It was so nice. So much better than the store.
Trying to convince my mom, she lives out in the country, she has a horse, and I'm trying to convince her that the horse is ornamental, that she needs chickens based on egg prices. I'm like, we need to get some chickens up in here.
Yes.
Forget the horse, he just looks pretty.
And my grandma's really good friends with this lady. She has a little ranch with horses, goats and stuff, and she's got some chickens, so we get really cheap eggs from there every time.
Farm fresh eggs are so
Yeah.
so different. They bake better, they
One of the hardest parts of this is just the time management piece. You gotta make a good meal in 30 minutes.
make a good meal in 30 minutes and keep it hot and make it pretty. And I can make a good meal in 30 minutes. It's just not usually plated beautifully. Okay, I'm impressed. They did a good job because that steak looks, well, Franz, it might be a little underdone for you.
It looks good. It looks good. I'd say that's at least what I was describing.
Okay. I was gonna
Yeah.
say it doesn't look overdone. It looks good.
Looks like they got some apples done on the fryer.
Well, he's used to mix over there too.
And he's got yogurt or something with honey. I'm interested to see what's happening over here.
Yeah.
For sour cream, maybe? I'm trying to see what he's going to do in 5 minutes, though, with all the stuff that's in the...
It's a 4-minute offense coming in now.
Yep.
They got 4 minutes.
It's amazing how quickly they can get stuff done.
I
It
think,
looks like they're starting to plate stuff back there a little bit.
have you noticed a distinct advantage with bigger teams having, with more hands, making it easier?
Or the opposite.
Or it could be the opposite, too many opinions.
Too many cooks in the kitchen.
Yeah.
It was kind of mixed because last time this team did very well, along with Kate and Lucas. They only had 2 guys, so I think it's
Kind of depends.
just depends on really how you work and if you have a good connection with your teammates.
Well, like you said, these two are good friends, those two are good friends, so that feels like they have chemistry already.
Yeah.
And they've done it together for a while too, so they have experience cooking together.
So it looks like he's using whatever he cooked it in to help marinate the steak.
Yeah.
It was kind of mixed because last time this team did very well, along with Kate and Lucas. They only had 2 guys, so I think it's kind of
depends.
just depends on really how you work and if you have a good connection with your teammates.
Well, like you said, these two are good friends, those two are good friends, so that feels like they have chemistry already.
Yeah.
And they've done it together for a while too, so they have experience cooking together.
So it looks like he's using whatever he cooked it in to help marinate.
Well, and these two also seem to be, I haven't, since they're the closest, I've seen them the best, but it seems like Kate is working with the meat and doing this while Oz is doing the sides.
These guys over here, it's just like not a whole lot of
Yeah,
communications. It's like you have your job, and that's,
they know what they're doing.
yeah.
These guys, I feel like in the back, have communicated the most. And they're plating.
Now it's really down to crunch time.
Yeah, this was always my favorite part at the end where they were like throwing it on the plate, like quick wiping it.
Uh-huh.
And, do you give them a 2-minute warning?
Well, that's. Yeah, these guys are back here, got them plated.
Okay.
Looks like we at least got a couple. These guys are still seasoning stuff.
They're still they still have stuff on the stove and something over in the serve.
Guys in the back are almost done, it looks like.
Yeah.
2 of the plates, they're halfway there.
We're ready to go.
These guys are starting to plate over here a little bit. They're heating up the tortillas.
It always kind of gets me nervous when they're getting this close to the water.
I know, I'm kind of anxious for them. I'm like, okay, let's go put the stuff on the plates.
Chefs, you have 1 minute remaining. Only 1 minute remaining.
I just wonder how they
Go on
come
2
up with their
tacos per plate over
ideas.
here.
I know. I want to know how much they cook at home and if this is something they just enjoy here, if it's something they do at home. Okay, they did use the apples and the zucchinis to make a sauce.
Yeah. With, it looks like the sour cream of some sort.
Yeah. Well, 35 seconds. Okay, they're plating 2. Team 4 is about
I
done.
don't know if they're fully going to get all theirs plated over here.
I don't know. These guys I thought were further behind, but they seem to be doing pretty well.
And they fried the apples, it looks like, too.
Chefs, you have 10 seconds.
Okay.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hands off. Hands off. You're done.
They've got a pan on there that's just. I'm like, something's smoking. We're gonna set off some fire alarms here.
Team 1, please bring up your first dish for the judges.
Thank you.
So go ahead and tell us what you have for the
In
judges.
front of you guys, we made elk tacos with a, we just pan fried or pan sauteed, whatever it is, the steak. We seasoned it with pepper, white pepper, and steak seasoning. And I cooked it in a pan with butter and rosemary and just sort of was throwing it on there a little bit. And then for the apples, we incorporated it in a sauce that we made. So we blended the apples and added lemon juice for some of that taco feel for it. And then, yeah, just put the tacos in some butter on a pan and warm them up.
Nice.
Thank you.
Okay.
Here it is.
How do I do this? Oh, it's nice and tender.
You can
not
taste the
overcooked.
rosemary with it, too. It's really nice. I don't taste the apples as much, though.
I don't taste the apples hardly at all, and I don't taste the lemon very much, but the sauce is nice.
We sort of dimmed down the apple taste a little bit because we didn't want it to be too overpowering because it is a taco. Apple.
Steak's really well prepared.
Really well.
Yeah, elk is just super fatty.
Really good.
Nicely done, guys.
So what are your thoughts, guys? What are we thinking?
Great preparation, or great display here with the rosemary and the apples on it. The flavoring of the apple just kind of got lost, I think, in this one.
What about you, Mr. Franz?
Yeah, I agree with all the same. I got kind of a strong, I don't know if it's rosemary or what, just down in my throat there at the end, but thought it was really good. Up till the last second, I was just gonna fire down all of my taco here. I think I'll be okay. I think I can finish all 3.
What about you, Mr. Kendra?
I think it's good. I think my only suggestion is the pepper. I'm really tasting the black pepper.
That might be it, yeah.
So I'm just really tasting the black pepper more than anything on it. But well done. I'll finish
And
that in
team
a
2,
minute.
go
I
ahead and
didn't
bring
eat
yours
lunch.
up.
I didn't either.
So I didn't eat lunch on
didn't eat
purpose. I'm
lunch
finishing
either.
that in a minute.
I saw that.
And what do we got here?
We've prepared steak fajitas. We tried to incorporate the apple as best as we could. It's a little bit of a hard ingredient there, so we went kind of like an apple salsa route. There's just some onion mixed in with the apple, and we think that it came out with a very good taste. That should pair with the tacos, and then kind of a little bit of pan zucchini that was in the oven with a little bit of oil, just to kind of make it all kind of wrap together. And the steak, just kind of seasoned with basic salt and pepper, a little bit of paprika on there as well, just trying to get a little bit of a spice feeling, so it would come out a little bit more. But yeah.
Definitely taste the apple, but I don't taste the rosemary as much. How'd you guys use the rosemary?
We seasoned all three of them.
Okay. Yeah, I'm just missing the rosemary a little bit.
I think the meat's well done. I like the taste of the zucchini. I'm not a huge onion person, and so I feel like I'm getting quite a bit of onion without taking some away, but that's some of my own, some preference. But otherwise, I think like I said, the elk meat's done really well. So yeah, pretty good job.
Ms. Kendra?
I agree with Franz that the meat's done really well. Onions don't always particularly agree with me if they're not cooked, so I'm kind of picking around them.
Yeah.
But the elk's done really well. You kept it very tender, and you kept it moist, which is a challenge with elk sometimes because it's a pretty lean meat, so keeping it moist was well done.
Thank you.
And Team 3, please bring up your plates for the judges.
Come back.
Finish my
Yeah.
tacos on each one.
All right, so today we kind of made like a traditional home cooked meal for you. We did the elk steak, which is like a very lean meat from experience. Seasoned that with the typical steak seasoning, salt, pepper, garlic, a little bit of spice in there. And then we used the apples and the zucchini in a sauce with heavy whipping cream, honey, Worcestershire sauce, and some other seasonings. And then the potatoes were just kind of like a side dish because obviously you have to have kind of a side for your main meal. So that's kind of what we went for. Tried to keep the steak as moist as possible for you guys. Personally, I like it done rare, like more on the rare side because elk's just done better that way and from personal experience. Otherwise it gets kind of like beef jerky. So and then the rosemary is incorporated with the steak with some garlic. And like I said, those typical steak seasonings to help kind of pare down the gaminess. So
I like the meat. The meat's very well seasoned with that.
I wasn't 100% sure on the garnish sauce you were going to use, and I am very pleasantly surprised with how it turned out. I was watching you over there, and I was just wondering because I've cooked a lot of elk steak myself, and so I was just wondering how it was going to turn out, and I really like the pairing. I was pleasantly surprised.
thank you guys.
Yeah, very nicely done, guys. It looked like you used some kind of yogurt or something.
I was gonna make some mashed potatoes, but I wasn't able to wasn't gonna have enough time for it, and I was just decided to kind of fry them instead, and kind of worked well instead of using some mashed potatoes.
Nice. Nicely done, guys.
What do you think of Mr. Franz?
Elk meat's really good. I like the sauce. I wasn't so sure. And maybe the potatoes just like 30 seconds longer a little bit. First one I was close to being a little bit undercooked, but really for the most part, well done.
Very well done. Yeah. The seasoning on the steak is really, really good.
What'd you put on at the beginning? Well, the seasoning.
you-
You
yeah.
were seasoning it. Yep.
I was gonna go kind of, just, like I said, very typical steak. Steak pairs well with garlic, salt, just regular pepper, a little bit of spice in there too, because obviously you don't want your steak sweet. So like I said, it's kind of more traditional home cooked meal. They all went taco route, want to be different. Get home from work and just steak and potatoes, can't go wrong.
Nicely done.
Thank you.
All right, Team 3.
I want those
Plates.
sauce.
You gotta save it. I gotta take it home and keep it separate. 'Cause my husband wants to try it.
I'm eating mine afterwards. I'm eating all three of them.
Yeah. I've got to take it home to husband. He wanted to try it, so I'm
Oh,
gonna give it
yeah.
to go box.
All right, chefs, we're going to give
Thank you.
the judges a minute to think and discuss, so please leave the kitchen, then we'll call you back when we're ready.
That's what I win.
That's
All right, so what are we thinking?
mine too.
That's what I win. And the only reason why is with them being very similar, my only deciding factor is I just felt like it was really onion overall flavor. It took away from some of that, but they did great with the steak.
I'm trying to pull out the onion out of it, but I still think overall this Team 1's tacos won me over. They were more cohesive and I felt they used the ingredients more creatively. This kind of felt like they just put the ingredients together and that felt a little more creative.
Yeah, because I didn't taste the apple
No.
in Team 3, so that was the one thing. I didn't get that one ingredient in there, where this one I can definitely taste all those ingredients. I mean, zucchini's hard because it takes on the taste of however you cook it, but losing the apple is what kind of made Team 1.
It's super important to get those basket ingredients in there too.
After I tasted it a couple of times though, I could taste it in their almost sauce they put on it, and they said it was watery, which I think was an effect from the apple, and I did like how I felt they incorporated that ingredient well. My challenge was, you could tell he was not familiar with elk steak because he kept saying it was fatty, and I'm like,
Yeah.
it's a very lean meat.
Yeah.
It's a tough choice between the very similar in a lot of aspects. I think it's whether or not they incorporated enough, and then was there something over like I said, I struggle. I love the way they prepared the elk meat. I just felt like I had too much onion, and then there was the zucchini on the side, and I felt like potentially they meshed them a little bit better. I think we're all in agreements that this group's
Team 3.
as far as overall.
So we just got to figure out which one of these we're going to chop.
Well, and I will say for Team 3, I was going to judge them a little harsher on how it turned out, because that's what I always do with elk steak. So I wanted to see what they did with it and how they made the sauce, and it really turned out well because I was skeptical. I think theirs was, they took elk steak and potatoes to a new level that I'm very impressed with.
Yeah, my only complaint that I have with one is the seasoning that they used with the steak. It's a little strong.
It was. I felt that was the same way though. That's kind of where I'm stuck with Franz between Team 1 and Team 2, because they were a little heavy-handed with the pepper seasoning on Team 1, but then Team 3, I'm really trying to in my head sort out the onions, because I am not. It was very oniony.
So I think we're gonna give you guys some time to think, and then we'll call our chefs back in.
Do we tell them? Do they get to know who won?
No. All right, chefs. These are some pretty tough ingredients. I want to say thank you to you all for coming out, but unfortunately, one team must be chopped. And that team is Team 2.
Do you want us to tell
Yeah.
why?
So can you guys please tell us why?
So I think the biggest thing was it just seemed like all the ingredients were kind of thrown on there and not really thought about mixing together and blending together. That was our biggest determining factor. But nicely done, everyone. You guys
Very
did a
good.
great job with some tough
Yeah.
ingredients.
Tough choice.
All right, Team 2,
excited
please
over there.
leave the kitchen.
You
guys
guys
are
are
so
so
excited to be
excited. Down to the final.
All right, congratulations to our final 2 teams. Please join us again next month for our dessert round. Thank you. Thanks for watching Chopped.